ho, ho! I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
I'm Terry Clubmaster.
This is Screen Bloody Movies, the podcast where we bring all your horror Yuletide cheer. Welcome to our fourth annual Christmas episode, guys. Fourth annual Christmas special. We've been doing this for 4 years now. And guys, we have a doozy for you this Christmas Eve.
Do we ever?
As we dig into 1980s Christmas Evil. Great title, by the way. Didn't we did New Year's Evil too, didn't we? Have we done New Year's Evil? Or did I watch that by myself?
I don't remember that.
I've never even heard of that movie.
Yeah, so I think I watched that one by myself. Well, maybe that will be the one next week for New Year's Eve. Who knows? But how are you guys doing this lovely holiday?
Doing great. Holly
I'm
jolly.
like a chocolate-covered raisin on an open fire. I'm melting inside.
Okay. What a wild analogy that was. Very picturesque, I will say. Chocolate-covered raisin on an open fire. Well, guys, I can't wait to talk about our movie tonight, Christmas Evil, because there's a lot to talk about. But I'm going to bring in this Christmas episode like I do every week, and we're going to hit up the horror news. And guys, I have a kind of a lot in some actual big stuff. So get ready to open these presents of goodies that I have for you here. So let's start with this. McKenna Grace, of the new Ghostbusters movies and tons of other stuff, has joined the cast of Scream 7.
Nice.
Cool.
She was the granddaughter, right?
In Ghostbusters, yes, and
Yeah.
she's also Sabrina in the Sabrina series and all that good stuff.
What? Was she?
She's in the Sabrina series, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I know she was on like Young Sheldon, right?
Yes. She's also in The Haunting of Hill House, by the way. And Annabelle Comes Home, and she's in Malignant. So McKenna Grace
she's
is
a
in lot of
talented little actress.
Yes,
Young
yes.
actress. Yeah, she's been in a lot.
But we don't know who she's playing or whatever, but we do know that she's going to be in it. And she's also, she's great in the new... Have you guys seen the two new Ghostbusters movies?
I saw the first one.
No.
I haven't seen Frozen Empire yet.
I saw the first one
Empire
on mute.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, at the Super Bowl, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a great movie. And then Frozen Empire is great, guys. I fucking love it. We have to get into the Ghostbusters franchise because it's horror adjacent. And as one of the creators of this show, I am voting that we allow it. What do you guys think?
Deal.
I second that judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Next season, season 5, we're going to be hitting up the Ghostbusters movies. I'm going to be joining those. So that's great news. I think that's really exciting. We also have a little bit of news on the new Jurassic Park movie.
What was that?
I don't know.
What happened?
You didn't hear that? It was like...
Your volume, blasted us for some reason.
Oh, no, I didn't hear that. I apologize.
That was crazy.
I said, so we have some news on the newest Jurassic Park movie entitled Jurassic World Rebirth. So we have a little interview with the original Jurassic Park writer, David Koepp, who is writing this screenplay. And he teases that it is a back to basics. It has the vibe of the original movie, is what he says. So he says Steven Spielberg and he were interested in a tone that is maybe more akin to the very first movie. So all we know is that there is... all we know about this so far is that Gareth Edwards of Godzilla fame is directing it, and it's starring Scarlett Johansson.
Okay.
And the plot synopsis is the planet's ecology has proven largely inhospitable to dinosaurs. Those remaining exist in isolated equatorial environments with climates resembling the ones in which they once thrived. The three most colossal creatures within the tropical biosphere hold the key to a drug that will bring miraculous life-saving benefits to mankind.
Interesting.
Some time
And
out. That's actually based on real science. Just FYI,
yes,
because
yes.
the atmosphere, way back when, it had a lot more oxygen in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we can keep going.
But yeah, the only thing we have so far is a picture of Scarlett Johansson. And she looks awesome. There she is.
Yes, I saw this and I didn't think it was real.
Isn't that awesome? I mean, she looks great.
Yeah,
I mean, does she
love her.
not look right? I'm just saying.
No, she always does look great. You're absolutely right, Derek. She's Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, yeah. She's so cool.
But I'm
That's
excited
awesome.
for this. Yeah.
I just had a little Jurassic Park marathon. Super into dinosaurs right now, so
Yeah, you
I'm
and
into it.
every 3-year-old child that exists. So.
Yes, and that 3-year-old is in me. Okay, I'm still here for it.
Yeah, well, the Jurassic Park movies, yeah. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of um, the last one, Fallen. What's that last one called? Dominion?
Yeah, I
Not
haven't
the,
even
not the,
seen it yet. I
not the
meant the
greatest fan.
original trilogy.
Yes, we'll get into those. We'll hit those up too. Uh, but I mean, the first Jurassic Park's a fucking all timer, guys. I mean, it's at another level. It's Spielberg at his, zenith, just like Jaws. I
Truly.
mean, it's on par with Jaws. Not quite on
Yes,
par with Jaws, but it's in that
it's
same vein.
very, very good.
Yeah. All right, guys. Did you guys see the trailer for 28 Years Later?
Yes.
What do you think?
No, I did see some stuff that, like, the speculation is that one of the zombies is Cillian Murphy.
It is
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
That's what I have here. That zombie in 28 Years Later is not Cillian Murphy.
How is it not?
Basically, Neil, an art dealer specializing, was talent spotted, and he was struck by his distinctive. I'm reading some stuff. Hang on. Basically, they've kind of said that it's not the actors have. It's actually this guy, British art dealer Angus Neil, is the zombie from the trailer, and I'll show
Okay.
you. Here he is, and then you'll see it and say, "Oh, that's 1000% that guy." Right here.
That's so. I was like pretty
Yep.
devastated when I saw
Yeah.
this trailer and everybody was saying that is Jim, and
yeah.
I was like pissed. So now I
Nope,
feel much better.
It's this fellow here. It's this fellow.
That is so odd. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Weird.
they've actually, there's been some behind the scenes shots of Cillian Murphy on set. So I mean, he's gonna be there. So
Okay, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. I was very worried. I was pretty upset.
Trailer looks intense. Looks great, and it
Yeah.
was shot with an iPhone. Remember, we
Yeah.
talked about this at great length. Shot with an iPhone. Wild. So we have a couple of new release dates for you and some big news here. Final Destination has its new title, Final Destination Bloodlines. And it's going to be around May 16th, 2025 is its release date.
Derek, you look like you approved of that title.
Yeah, I think that's I mean, they'd be silly not to tie it back to the original cast somehow, because apparently there's a whole subplot or alternate ending where they had a kid. So who knows?
Yeah. So Bloodline, I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, I mean the name is kind of generic, but it's fine. But Tony Todd, I think it looks like he did film some stuff before he passed away. So this should be his, one of his last films.
Wow.
Well, that's cool.
So we don't have really a plot for it except, death is killing people like he fucking does.
Right.
It's a plot.
It's
So
my
there we go.
job. It's his job.
You guys looking forward to a new Final Destination? I mean, we have to catch up on all those. We did the first one. That's it.
Yeah. Bring me more. We do need to dive a little deeper into that franchise, for sure.
Speaking of a
they're always
franchise
fun.
Speaking of a franchise that we need to keep diving into, it's one of my all-time favorite franchises. Because, guys, we have a title for the new Evil Dead movie releasing in 2026. It is called Evil Dead Burn.
Yes.
What a fucking
What?
sick title, right?
Awesome. Awesome.
Now that's a title. And so the director, which I'm going to horribly butcher this guy's name, Sebastian Vinix, he said he wanted to make a nasty film, a film that hurts, from which you come away tested. So they're going the darker route of Evil Dead, with Evil Dead Burn, apparently. Mine would be my Evil Dead film. Spoiler alert, if I ever get to do one, is going to be the most splat sticky of splat sticks that's ever existed. Like, I will lean into that so hard if I was making an Evil Dead movie. The fun,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd make the gruesome and the scares, but the fun factor would be amped up to like 11. Ours goes to 11. So it'd be... But you guys excited for a new Evil Dead movie?
Always.
Yep. Word.
Evil Dead is one of the few franchises that does not have a single bad movie or a single bad property, because Ash vs. Evil Dead kicks ass. So
Yeah.
there's no bad Evil Dead. No bad Evil Dead. So I
Agreed.
can't wait to get into the rest of those. We, guys, next year, we're going to hit up Army of Darkness. That's another.
Yep.
Because that's where we are. And it's only just one of the fucking best movies ever made.
Dude, have
So
we done the
to
second
talk
one
about.
yet?
We've done Evil
Yeah.
Dead 2 twice.
Oh my gosh,
I know, that's
Derek.
why I brought it up. That's why I brought it up.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, we
I'm
did
an
it
evil
twice.
bastard like that.
I mean, we could do it again, though.
I mean,
Ah,
yeah. I mean,
sometimes a charm.
I think we should just throw it in every single season. Just talk about it. It's fucking
Just see
great.
what's new about it.
We'll see if our rating
you-
changes, because I don't think it changed from last time over time.
And mine never changes. It's always a 10 because it's one of my literal all-time favorite movies. So
Yeah.
it literally never changes. Okay, and then finally, this last bit of horror news, guys. I just found this out while I was researching horror news, and I'm not gonna lie, I audibly gasped at this news. Derek, you're gonna be more excited than Lydia about this probably, but okay. Mike Flanagan is officially writing a Clayface movie for DC.
Those sons of bitches.
What is Clayface?
What?
I'll show you Clayface. Clayface is a DC character.
Man.
He's a DC, like, horror-ish character. This is him. You've seen him before in the Batman mythos. Remember him? This is Clayface. He is
an actor
an actor
who
who basically
was
gets
disfigured.
disfigured, and he can basically become anybody. Like, he can morph himself. He's this thing, but he can morph himself into anybody.
Cool.
So he can
Yeah,
take the
he
shape
got a
of
hold of like
anybody.
this. Yeah, he got a hold of this concoction that like he rubs on his face, but he can become anybody, and then they doused him in it, and he became Clayface.
That's
So,
cool.
We don't know who's directing this yet, but we know that Mike Flanagan, he pitched it. This is his idea. He pitched it. He's writing it. It has been greenlit, and filming is expected to begin next year, early next year.
They would
Matt
just be
Reeves.
silly to not be like, "Hey, you wrote it. Why don't you direct it?"
Well, he's got to direct, but I mean, he's got to do it after, the Exorcist movie that he's directing. So
He can do it.
or maybe he does it before. I don't know, but I couldn't be more happy. I'm happy whenever Mike Flanagan does anything, but Mike Flanagan doing a Clayface story is just phenomenal. Like,
Yep.
I could not be more excited. Derek, how do you feel about this?
Oh man, I'm on board. I would buy a ticket if they were to pre-sale those motherfuckers.
Lydia, you don't know much about Clayface, but you know about Mike Flanagan.
Yes, which is I'm always down for. And I'm curious to know, like, who's going to play him? Like, what's the vibe
Yep.
going to be?
Yep. And so it's a standalone movie so far as I can tell. I don't know how it's going to connect to the greater DCU. We'll find out. But it's exciting stuff. James Gunn, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Wheeling and dealing behind the scenes.
He knows.
Talking about,
he knows what he's doing.
He just did an interview the other day I watched with him, and he said there's a couple projects that are really close to being greenlit. Or no, he said there's a project that we just greenlit yesterday that people don't know about yet. And it was this fucking one. So he knew this whole time that he had Mike Flanagan in his back pocket with a Clayface movie. How could you keep a secret like that? I would have to tell everybody I
Dude,
knew
I know that
immediately.
he came up with the idea, and I don't know that it would be like a good like standalone movie. Like I think this one could be. But dude, imagine him doing a fucking Scarecrow movie.
Oh, that'd be good too. Scarecrow, but it depends, man.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it would be as
Scarecrow.
good as standalone.
No, no.
But I bet there are other villains in this movie.
You know who should do you know who would do an awesome Scarecrow movie? We just talked about him. It's the man himself, Sam Raimi.
Ooh, yes,
He could
that would
bring
be
the
good.
visuals. He'd bring the visuals to the Scarecrow movie, man.
Yeah,
That'd be fucking
the chaos and the darkness.
Yeah. That fear toxin. Green like that right now, James Gunn. I just gave you a $1 million idea, $1 billion idea, $1 billion idea. I'll be a producer. You'll come and help us fund our horror movie. That will be our payment. Win-win, right, Derek?
Yep. I scratch your back. You rub mine.
Funny thing about my back.
It's located off my. Yeah. That's super bad, right?
Yeah, super bad.
Funny thing about my back, Jules.
That movie's so funny. The first time I saw it, I fucking died.
Why is your name Muhammad?
It's the most common name in the world.
Why don't you read an effing book?
McLovin? So guys, back to the project at hand. Picture it. It's 1980. Slasher movies are the thing. They are in. Halloween came in and, Black Christmas set the stage, and Halloween came in and kicked the fucking doors open. It was like, this is a slasher movie and this is how you do it. And then Friday the 13th is like, I will try to do that, and ends up making a successful franchise. And then there was a dime a dozen. There was slasher movies about everything, especially holidays, because Halloween obviously is called Halloween. And so then you got April Fool's Day, which we'll do. Happy Birthday to Me, which we'll do.
My Bloody Valentine.
My Bloody Valentine, which we'll do. And then you have, of course, the one that you think of, which is Silent Night, Deadly Night. However, before Silent Night, Deadly Night, there was a film called Christmas Evil, which was the original Killer Santa movie. But it didn't get the press or the notoriety of Silent Night, Deadly Night, because we weren't in the throes yet of the satanic panic of the 80s and the moral police of the 80s and the video nasty era. So this one is a forgotten title, actually. And we didn't really find out much about it until we were researching last week of what Christmas movie to do. Which one haven't we seen? And this is one. So guys, had you guys, either of you, heard of Christmas Evil before we took this project on?
I don't think so.
That is a negative.
Yeah, me neither. To me, it was always, Silent Night, Deadly Night, and then All Through the House, the Tales from the Crypt short. Which
right, and then you have like Black Christmas.
Black Christmas, of course, is the OG. But it wasn't. Black Christmas wasn't Killer Santa.
Right. Yeah.
Killer Santas were Silent Night, Deadly Night, and All Through the House, and then the Silent Night sequel. So I knew nothing about this, and I went into this movie with really no expectations because I had no idea what the hell I was dealing with. I read the log line. I read a couple things that were like talking about it. I wanted to do as spoiler free as I could. So if you've not seen it, go watch it before you watch this section because, obviously our podcast is always spoilers, but especially by the end, we don't want to ruin that for you if you've not seen the movie. So buckle up, Buttercup, because this is a ride. So, guys, here's the thing about Christmas Evil, right? Is that for a majority of the movie, and there's some weird shit, and we'll talk about all of it. We'll go into detail. But I think this is a pretty solid movie. through, like, I think it's really solid, and I think the cinematography is beautiful. I think this movie looks great.
Yeah. I think this movie is like the artsiest movie I think we've done in a while.
It's so artsy. You're right. What do you think, Derek?
I mean, I see your point about the cinematography.
Yeah, it's beautiful. There's some like just really like ambitious shots. Plus, like
when you're getting
the
in the
way
more
that
like micro
the streets
scale
are
of the
lit.
movie, I was from a macro perspective. Like I don't know if this movie like could figure out what it wanted to be at times, but
Well, no, we'll
yeah,
get into
I
that.
agree
We'll
with
get
you.
into that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Like the
I,
strangeness of the movie can overshadow how like well the movie is shot.
dude, the movie is super well made. Like super well made. Well, as I was watching it, I was like, man, those are some like really creative shots, and those are some like really well framed and well staged shots. Some well staged scenes. Like there's not. So here's the thing: from a slasher movie from this era, one of the things you do see from time to time is poor staging, right? Because they're shooting on
Mm-hmm.
the quick. They're inexperienced filmmakers and they're shooting on the quick. Because they don't have a lot of money, so the staging sometimes is wonky, where it's stilted or stiff. You know, you're like, well, why did he come over here? It's just to be in the shot. You know, that sort of thing. That's really not the case in this movie. Like everything flows and like seems natural. I mean, there's some weird fucking shit that happens, which we'll definitely get into. But like it plays like a almost like a drama for a good chunk of the movie with horror themes underneath it, and then it becomes like just this insane fucking ride that happens at one point. So let's start with talking about our main character, Harry.
Harry.
So
I
the
need you
opening is
guys.
where we have to start. We have to start
Yeah,
at the beginning, Derek. We have to start at the
yeah,
opening.
exactly. Because I need you to. So obviously, this person has some mental issues from the get go, but like that scene with Santa and Mom,
Mm-hmm.
just was like, what the? Well, first off, I couldn't tell if he was like listening to her vagina or if he was like, what
He was
was going
listening
on,
to he was listening to the ocean.
Yeah.
apparently. And just like how scarred that kid was, or that he ran up to the attic and
So
got his hand. But anyway,
I'm thinking he was being a cunning linguist at that moment. The Santa was.
oh boy. He does fly around the world. He's got to know multiple languages.
Definitely. But yeah, the it's kind of bizarre because first of all, I've got to say this. I'm a new father. Or not new, but newish. You know, my child's not 2 yet. And I can't wait to, start staging things for Santa Claus for him and stuff for Christmas morning. I will say I don't think I'd go through the effort of climbing down my fucking chimney dressed as
No,
Santa Claus. And then how
no.
did he get back up?
Great question.
Unless he's the real Santa Claus, because that would make sense for the end of the movie. It just hit me.
Oh. Oh. Hang on.
Wait. You're saying that Harry then becomes the new Santa?
Yeah, it's like the Santa Claus thing. You know,
There is some
it's like
magical elements.
Scott Cal, which we'll get into, which are fucking wild. But
Yes.
so that whole scene is interesting. I mean, they do there's always supposed to be like obviously with these killer Santa movies, what usually happens is there is some kind of inciting incident that the protagonist or the killer, if they're not the protagonist, encounters at some point as a child that twists their view of Santa Claus. You know, in Silent Night, Deadly Night, it's that Santa Claus mugger that fucking murders and rapes the mother and all that shit.
Yes,
Wild shit.
which was horrifyingly horrific.
Which
Yes.
would be a little bit more impactful than just seeing Santa Claus hook up with your
Listening
mom.
to
Or like touch your mom's legs.
Yeah, that's
Or
exactly right.
or make a phone call from her vagina.
Yeah.
10 10 3 2 1. Don't forget to dial *67 to hide your location. But yeah, I mean that the stuff. It's interesting because you expect something horrific to happen, right? Like maybe he goes down there and he sees the mom getting beat by Santa or something, but instead it's just literally like this kind of love scene,
I
and
mean,
it just
yeah, they just make it clear that he like, because the brother is like, that was just dad.
yeah,
And
he's
he's
like,
like, no,
no,
it
it's
wasn't.
really Santa, it's really
Yeah,
Santa, and then
yeah,
he's like,
and
Santa's banging my mom.
yeah, it's so
Well,
strange.
maybe he got anxiety and he was like, "Oh no, now they're gonna get divorced and it's gonna break up the family." Maybe he just like had a mental break. I don't know. My
Well, I
guess
think I
is
know
he
what it
was
is.
crazy before that, but
Yeah, yeah. I think what it is once he saw that happening, he's like, "Oh no, my mom's a ho ho ho."
Yeah, well, he's like, I think he's just like, I've been lied to, and like everything that I believe it, that magic was just ripped away from him like so
Maybe
fast. Like
oh yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
all the
Like
good in the world just
broke his brain because then
doesn't believe in it.
but here's the thing, he does because
And he does.
when we next meet him as an adult, he is Santa Claus.
Yes.
Like he's
Which somehow makes him like morally really good.
yeah, so
Which
it's
is
interesting.
confusing.
like halfway through the movie, I feel like he's on that trajectory, and you're just like, okay, well, where will the horror kick in?
Yes.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Yeah, like he is very sympathetic through most of the movie. You're like kind of on his side through a good chunk of the movie.
100%.
You're like,
But he's still really weird.
well, he's really weird
I
and really
mean,
creepy.
you know,
Of course.
Yeah.
Really weird and really creepy, but you're kind of
He
like
goes back
yeah,
and forth.
he's really weird and creepy, but you know, he's harmless, I guess. I mean, when he goes and so guys, when we see him on the roof and he's like, you know, spying on the
I
kid,
thought
I
it
was
was the
like,
peeping
oh,
tom.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, is he like a pervert or something? And
Yeah.
then you find out
No.
that he's writing a naughty and nice, but he's like that man masturbating to Penthouse.
Yeah, that little boy like cutting out nude pictures.
He hates
I
that.
Giant
was
nude
gaming
pictures.
as a kid for sure.
He's like, you son of a bitch, you're my nemesis.
But no, that is, you're right. Like, you're just like, oh man, he's a peeping tom, and then he's like going to each of the windows, and then they're little kids, and then he goes down and gets his books, his naughty and nice list, and you're like, man, this guy's fucking nuts.
Yeah, he's
But at
obviously
least
not.
he's
And
not a peeping tom.
then we see him then we see that he works, of course, at a toy factory, and he's in
Yeah.
middle management at this point. He's got promoted, and so it's like little things are starting to set him off, starting to break his psyche, because then the guy whose shift he covers, because he needs to leave early, finds out is just chilling at the bar, just chilling out, and he's like, "Yeah, I got that schmug Harry to take my shift," and he just like goes home and like starts pacing and rips a doll's head off, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Dude, I do think I get your point now. I think because the catalyst, I think that when he finally breaks, it's at the party when he realizes that this commercial or like promotion or whatever is merely just a ploy to get the employees to work harder to drive their production and increase their profits, and it's not for the
it's all
kids.
profit. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is a great knock on.
I mean, that is predatory capitalism.
That is
Yeah. Yep, and it is the real Christmas evil.
It is the real Christmas
evil. It is the real Christmas evil, Lydia. That's a great point.
So, guys, there's a scene in the movie where Harry goes and sneaks into the boy's house because he's doing the, he's like goes and spies on him. He sees, he's checking on him and everything, and then he covers his face in mud, and his hands in mud, and then he puts a face print on the house. I was like, what the fuck is going on? He was marking it as a naughty house.
Which he doesn't do to anybody else.
No, but he marks it, and then he hides in the bushes. And when that kid comes out and he like freaking like scares him, it makes him run away. And the mom smacks the shit out of him.
Yeah, she does.
She's like, "You're interrupting my bingo." I'm like, "Good God! No wonder the kid's a
What?
fucking heathen."
Yeah, good
Hey,
point.
monsters aren't born; they're created.
Yeah, and that's
Yes.
what happened there. So we're also introduced to his brother, Phil, who is a family man, has like a stable house, stable wife, stable kids, and he invites his, brother Harry over every year for Thanksgiving because they're watching a Thanksgiving Day parade, and Harry can't go this year because he sees Santa Claus on the TV and he's got to watch this shit because Santa Claus is really coming. You're like, oh my God, dude, he's fucking wild. But their relationship is interesting because he knows his brother is sick. He tries to help, but he just can't. He's been dealing with it his whole life. His wife is like, he's a sweet man. He's always been sweet with us and the kids. He's just eccentric. And he's like, I know, but fuck it. It's probably how Derek feels about his brother.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Derek is watching this. Grabs a beer. Yep.
I knew that his brother looked familiar, and I just placed him a little bit ago. He was a pretty crucial part in the first season of The Walking Dead.
Yep.
He's been in a
He is.
lot of
Jeffrey
movies.
Munn.
I've seen him in a lot
Jeffrey
of
Munn.
movies.
Yep.
He was in The Mist, which we haven't covered yet.
Which is Frank Darabont. He's in all of Frank Darabont's movies. He's also in The Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Munn. Yeah. So, guys, what do you think about Harry as a character before we get into more of this? Or the actor that plays Harry. What do you think of him?
I think he did really good, honestly. I think he committed.
I agree.
I don't know if he was supposed to be as sympathetic as we kind of felt for him, because at times he really, seems pretty unhinged. Like, straight out the beginning, he's like looking at himself in the mirror and like, putting the mustache up to him, and like he just keeps looking at himself just very, very strange.
And then he cuts himself shaving, and then there's that thing like, ee!
That's what did it.
Blood.
That's what did it. Yeah.
So,
that flashback.
No, I think he's great. I think he did great. What do you think, Derek?
I do think that he did I think that for the most
Brendan
part,
Maggart.
Actors did a pretty decent job.
No, I think all the actors are good. I don't think there's a bad performance in this. This isn't like one of those movies with shitty performances, and this movie. It was not what I expected it to be. I kind of half expected it to be kind of shitty. You know what I mean? Or at least like amateur hour, because it's early slashers, and sometimes that's what it is.
Yeah,
but this is
I think the biggest
F film. Yeah.
Yeah, like the biggest problem with it is that it just doesn't really fit in with a lot of movies that have lasted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's just such a weird one to place.
Yeah, there's some weird shit that we're going to get into here in a minute. Because he decides to go on after the thing with he goes to the Christmas party. And what you were talking about, Derek, and he finds out about the predator, the predatory means that they're supposed to be donating to this children's hospital, but there's barely any. He snaps, and that's when he decides he's going to become Santa Claus. He goes and steals a bunch of toys from the toy, which, by the way, guys, those toys were fucking weak sauce.
Yeah, and he says that too. He's like he's talking to his workmates, and he's like, this quality of these toys like isn't doing much for children. Like they need like enrichment, and like they need these toys like for reasons, like psychological reasons, which is crazy to think he was, he's like, these are not good.
Okay. So explain that, because he goes and steals a bunch of those toys, right? And those are the toys that he gives away.
Yes.
Why is he making toys in his fucking garage
because that's his passion.
I guess I get that, and they're pretty pristine. Like, it was a nice nutcracker just made of steel or whatever, silver or whatever it was that he melted down. But I guess he did. I guess his workshop was his workshop.
His Santa workshop, because then we see him, painting his sleigh. With his fucking van, the sleigh on it.
He had some like evil looking toys though too.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, he
he's
is a
just a messed
twisted
up individual.
individual.
Yeah, he's messed up all around. So, and then you're just waiting for like shit to happen at when he's doing this stuff because he goes and he loads up a bunch of dirt, and that's what he gives to the mean boy. Gives him and with a note that's like, "You're naughty." And so you're like, "Oh man, what's he gonna do? You know, what's going on?" Then he goes into different people.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, so then he goes and delivers the toys to the children at the hospital, and you're
This
waiting
scene.
for when he and the guard are talking, and the guard's not, and he's starting to lose his patience. You're waiting for him to snap. You're waiting for something to happen. That's you're like, oh, this is where it's going to happen. He's going to like slaughter. No, he gives the guy a present, and the guy, like the Grinch, his heart grows 3 sizes, and he's like, all right, I'll. And then the staff comes out, and he opens up the van full of presents, and they're like, oh,
Well,
thank you so much, Santa.
He starts ho ho hoing, and it starts snowing like
Yes.
Christmas magic.
Yeah, Christmas miracle. Yeah.
Yeah. What's up
And
with
so
that,
they're
guys?
So they're like, oh, thank you, Santa. And he's like, oh, no problem. And you're like, hey, you know what? Okay, I could get behind this. This is good. This is a good thing he's doing. And then,
Yeah.
and then we get the turn, which is the most like so. As he's driving, he just keeps thinking about
Those
evil
jerks.
of those jerks that are
The corporate jerks
that tried to take this from him. And so he goes to a church that he, I guess, knows that they're going to be at. And to confront them, it's what I'm getting from is he's going there to confront them, right?
Dude, I'm all kinds of confused about that church scene.
They told him that they were going to be at midnight mass.
Right, but
so that's how he knew they would be there.
Right, but he goes there to confront them, but he doesn't confront them.
He doesn't.
They're there, and then these other people come up and start. These other people come up and start like pestering him, and he just snaps and fucking stabs him in the face with the
and
toy.
And that's where I got confused. Yeah. I was like, where do these people? How are these people connected to this story?
I really don't know. I was confused as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it is people that he knows. It is people that he knows. So I'm reading it. But because I was confused by that, it made no sense to me. I was like, "Who are these?"
Maybe they were like his coworkers, and we just forgot their faces.
I think that's who it was. It was his. It was his coworkers, and so yeah, Khaki, Charles, Peter, and Binky. So those are the coworkers. That's who it was. His coworkers that he's talking to at the beginning.
Okay, yeah, definitely forgot their faces by that point in the movie.
I had no idea who they were. I was like, "Who the fuck are these people?" Because the corporate people are up there. I don't understand. So yes, those are the coworkers that were making fun of him. They were the coworkers that I think the one that was taunting him at the Christmas party. So they start taunting him again, and that's why he kills him with the toy soldier and then that hatchet.
Yeah, little
with it.
Little very hatchet. Colorful hatchet.
Yeah. So then he goes on the run, but like not really, because then he continues.
Like nobody even moves. They all just stand there.
The police get there and they're like, oh, so there's like a little tiny subplot about the police trying to track him down.
Yeah.
It's a really nothing subplot. It's just police are investigating and having different Santa Clauses say things.
Just to add the stress of like he's on the run.
That he's on the run, correct. And so, but he's not on the run necessarily because he's also still going about doing his Santa Claus thing. Because he, sleeps in he covers his van, sleeps in it. And then he goes and murders the guy who stole or who he took the shift for.
Yeah.
What do you think of this scene? You're muted, by the way, buddy. Ho ho ho! Every Christmas.
What I was saying was, how does the wife not know that her husband is getting suffocated? She must be a hard sleeper. I mean, she doesn't realize what's going on until he slices his throat and he falls down on her.
Yeah, so the suffocating scene is... So it's... Because it's kind of disturbing, because he goes in and puts presents there for the children, which he had done already. Did it to a couple other houses, just broke into their houses and put presents and left. But he's doing it to... he puts the children's presents there. then goes and murders their father, and they see him.
Mhm.
Because they don't see him kill the father, but they see Santa. So he goes and tries to smother him, and then when that doesn't work, he cuts his throat with a Christmas ornament. Okay,
With
and
the star. Yeah, with the
yeah, the
star.
Christmas star, and he falls over on top of her, and she screams like he's about to go out the door. He sees the kids, and he stops with them, and then when they scream, he like panics and runs out. So those kids are gonna be. That's the sequel of Christmas Evil 2. It's those kids. But
Yeah.
so yeah, then we get
what about the scene where he tries to go down the chimney?
dude, that's so funny. That's so weird and wild.
Is that
and
this
weird
house?
yeah,
Oh,
he tries
this
to go
Yeah.
house
down the
was
chimney.
good.
It
That
was
was
this
a really
house.
weird
Yeah,
scene.
because he's too fat to fit down it, and he's mad
He
about it.
almost gets stuck, and he's just like,
Yeah.
you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, so many points in this movie, I was like, what is this movie about?
What is going on here? And so that happens, and you're like, what the fuck? So yeah, then he climbs down and goes in. But so he decides after he went on this murder spree, he goes to his brother's house. But before he goes to his brother's house, he is chased by a mob. They find him. And the mob
Yeah.
chase scene is
Mhm.
actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the mob chase scene?
Yeah, it kind of starts
agree.
because he is like, a bunch of little kids run up to him, right? Like, they
Mhm.
spot him,
Mhm.
and then all the kids that are with the parents of the mob, like, kind of run up to him.
And they see him because he's on the news,
Yeah, and they're like,
and
that's him.
yep. And so the kids like basically surround him to protect him. He hands
And
toys
start
to him,
protecting him.
and he
Oh
like
my
kind of
gosh.
uses them as kind of like a shield almost from the guy with the knife. And then he gets the knife, and he gets sliced a little bit, and then
Yeah.
stabs
He
his
gets
stabs his
poked.
pillow, stabs his pillow,
Yeah.
and so then he goes on the run, and then we get like this chase scene, which is actually pretty good. It's pretty suspenseful, I think, because there's some
Yeah, well,
actually
I
really
mean,
great shots. There's a great bit where we see like the because at this point, so up until the end of this movie, I was like kind of into this because there's a bit where we see it's like proto Sam Raimi. We see the torches light. We just see them all popping in the frame, and I was like, "Oh, I fucking love that."
yeah,
That's some cool film. That's some cool shit.
like Frankenstein Christmas mob.
Yeah, but the way each torch just kind of hits the frame, and I was like, "Oh, that's some cool shit. I like that." And it kind of there's this little chase, and I was like, so this is how it's going to end with like the mob getting him, I guess. But then he escapes twice, and then gets away, and goes to his brother's house. And I was like, "Oh no, what's he going to do here? What's this going to be like? Is he going to try and kill his
Mhm.
family?" And instead, his
Yeah.
brother Phil is just like, "I knew it was you. I knew you were fucking killing people. I just knew it. You're crazy. You've always blamed me." And he strangles him, and we think strangles him to death.
Dude.
Yeah. His
I was
wife
like,
thought
what?
he strangled him to death.
Yeah, everybody's just like, and so then he carries
His
him
wife,
outside.
yeah, his wife is just standing there watching, not saying anything.
I mean, what would you say, right? What would
I
you
would
say?
stop him. I would be like, what are you doing? You can't kill somebody.
Yeah,
Just because
no, I
he
mean,
killed somebody doesn't.
I mean, after it happened, what would you do? Nothing. You're just kind of like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
it's like the Homer going into the bush.
Wish I didn't just see that.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, he puts him into his sleigh, and I guess I don't know what to say. Like he's gonna call the police and say, "Hey, he died on the way here." I don't know why he's here. I don't know what he was gonna do, but he comes to and punches his brother, which is fucking hilarious the way he does it. He just wakes up and goes, "Yeah."
It's a good punch.
Was so he punches his brother, knocks him out, and he starts to drive off, and there's the mob again. They found him. They're chasing him, and then it happens, guys. This fucking ending happens.
Dude.
He's driving through, and he decides to try to basically jump off, and we're like, "Oh, okay." So he's gonna. His brother falls down the hill, and then he looks up and he sees him crash off.
You can't skip over this, man. The brother falls down the hill, on the fake snow.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
like a blanket or something.
Like
in it.
sheets
Yeah.
of actual fake snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Some cardboard boxes and
Yep.
padding and all that.
Yep. He falls down, and then he looks up and he sees the van flying off like it's about to crash, and then it just flies up into the moon, and like this Christmas quote plays over, and then like we hear jingle bells. It's it's the end of the night before Christmas, and then it ends. And I was literally like,
Dude.
tell me you guys didn't have that exact same reaction.
oh,
How could you not?
Yeah, I was sitting here verbally saying, "What the fuck is this movie?" I don't understand.
Dude, that ending happened, and I was fucking flabbergasted. I was like,
Dude.
what?
Yeah.
And I'm waiting. Maybe something else is going to happen. Nope, that's the ending. The credits start rolling. I was like, that's a fucking big swing. I don't know what any of it means.
Right? And this movie really makes you analyze yourself and
Life.
the character of Christmas, like the character of Santa.
Because the cop actually says something at one point. Well, this is good for the
Life.
kids. Now they're going to be afraid of Santa. Remember that?
Yeah.
The cop.
Oh, yeah. There's also, dude, that speech that he gives to those kids that are randomly in that bar.
Oh
I guess
yeah,
it's
that
a-
Christmas party.
We're going
Party.
to talk about that. Yeah, we forgot about that.
Dude,
He
there's
goes-
so
speech he
much.
gives to
There's
those
just
little
so
kids,
much.
man. At the end, I'm
He
like,
runs in there. He
Went
runs
dark?
into the bar to escape after the murder, and
Yeah.
ends up in the bar. And he thinks that they're like gonna turn on him, but they're like super happy to see him because he's Santa, and they're not making fun of him. They're like, there's kids here, and so he stays and has this like dancing with women and this whole freaking thing, this whole bit.
Dude, the dancing.
Yeah, the whole dancing thing, this whole dancing scene happens. This is more of the what the fuckness of this movie. This whole
Yes.
dancing scene happens.
I looked
then
at
he
Jake and
gives
I was like, remember when people used to dance?
Yeah.
People don't
That
dance
was a
anymore.
pastime. And then, yeah, Derek, he gives that speech that you're talking about,
Yeah.
where he's talking about like, but if you're bad, blah blah blah.
yeah, you're gonna get bad stuff happen to you or something like that.
Yeah,
It got
you're gonna
real
get-
dark.
You're gonna get
It got real
horrible
dark.
things.
You can
The
just and then
parents
there's a
were like-
pause. And
Yeah,
that
the parents were
pause
like-
is magical, man, because it you can fucking fart in that place.
Yeah, well, dude, everybody's just like, and then he goes, ha 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 ha.
What?
And I'm
Dude,
like,
and you
"Oh,
see those-
Something?
he's just
You
kidding."
see those kids jump too. Those kids were startled.
Yeah, and then he starts
That wasn't
laughing.
acting. That was real.
The parents start laughing. They're like, "Oh, Santa, come back! You're the best. Good job."
You
And then he
silly
goes out
guy.
and fucking murders somebody else. But guys, the ending is just like an all-timer what the fuck moment. So
Yeah, it really is.
the interpretations are as follows to me. There is that he is Santa Claus or the spirit of Christmas somehow. There is that it's his delusion of what he wants to
Yeah.
happen after he rides off that thing. Or it's from the point of view of the brother who has a severe concussion after falling down a fucking hill.
Yeah.
I think it more emphasizes like this could also just all be in his head.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. That's
Yeah,
possible.
but yeah,
but-
it's a fucking wild. Wild.
The ending is so bizarre, man. It's one of the most bizarre endings I've ever seen in any film. In any
Well,
movie.
it's so out of place for, or is it out
So-
of place? 'Cause this movie is
listen.
just a chaotic
It is.
bag of tricks.
Yeah, it's like a concoction of different emotions that are confusing.
Yes. So here, what it reminds me of is Jacob and I had this joke, and I said that one day, and I still might do it, and nobody will ever suspect when it happens. But there was this joke I had about I wanted to make a super serious crime thriller or like a Seven type movie, you know, serial killer movie, like a super intense one, like gritty, down to earth, like just like Seven. And I
Mm-hmm.
wanted it at the end of it to be our main character is like held by the bad guys or something really dark and bad's happening, being tortured, whatever. And then out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, Bill Goldberg comes in, right, and spears the villain. Just Bill Goldberg comes in and spears the villain, and I know people would be like, "What the fuck?" And he's dressed in like his wrestling gear. He's just Bill Goldberg. Comes in, spears the villain. The cop takes him, saves the day, and he's like, "Thanks, Goldberg." And Goldberg says, "No problem. Remember, if you need me, just blow this whistle." And then he flies off. And then that would be the end of the movie. So then people would be like, "What the fuck just happened?" That's
sounds
this
like
movie for real.
Yeah,
That's this movie for real.
Yeah. It sounds like a Family Guy skit. It's so
It
ridiculous,
is. Yeah. And that's this movie because there's moments where it's like a kind of a serious-ish drama, serious like kind of thriller horror movie, and then there's like bizarre shit like with the sense of humor of like some of the weird shit that he does or says. There's a bit where he's looking in the mirror and he just keeps trying to pull off his beard, making sure it doesn't go away. What
Yeah.
the fuck is going on?
And he's just like loving it. Like he's like so happy that thing is glued to his face.
And then there's the ending, which is what I'm gonna start calling from now on the Goldberg ending.
Yeah.
So from now on, every time we have an ending that's a what the fuck ending, we're gonna call it the Goldberg ending. And this is the very first movie on the Scream Bloody Movies podcast to achieve the Goldberg ending. I mean, we've had a couple that endings weren't good, right? We've had several where the endings were bad, but never were it just like completely undermined the entire film that came before it.
like was that actual magic, or was this just all like a delusion?
What do you think, Derek?
I think it was a dream. I don't know. It's something. I don't think I've seen anything quite like it.
No, I've never seen anything like this. Never. Brilliant.
Because it's just like, it's going here and then it takes a really hard right turn to like mythology.
Yeah, it's just out of nowhere because it's like really. I mean, there's stuff I guess not completely out of nowhere because we, like you said, there's a Christmas snow, those sort of things that are like hinted at, but like this.
And when he's driving his van and you hear like jingle bells and like hoof tracks.
Yeah.
And he starts like like mushing the van.
Yeah.
The steering wheel.
Yeah.
Strange.
Gotta be the mental instability.
Yeah, crazy film. And that is Christmas Evil. What do you guys think?
It's wild.
It's a hard one to rate.
Man, I think I can rate it pretty. So you were right. Like the cinematography in this movie is better than it should have been. I feel like the acting were pretty solid. It makes you wonder, and this movie's a fairly obscure movie. I don't know if it has like any backstory that someone was willing to put out there, but I'm just curious if like there were competing visions for this movie and it's a mixed bag because of something like, I mean, I'm just speculating here, but it seems like it's different movies that they put together.
I
don't
can
know.
see that.
Yeah.
It's a mess. It's definitely a mess.
I'm going to give this movie, I'm going to give it a 6. It was entertaining though.
Yes. Incredibly entertaining.
I was entertained. And at the end of it, I was just really astonished. But yeah, I can't in good conscience give this movie anything better than a 6 though. I'm going to stand by that.
What do you think, Lydia?
Yeah, man, this is a hard one to rate. I think this one, I just watched this, so I really didn't have a lot of time to process all my feelings about this movie. Like as a kid, I was like really, really invested in the idea of Christmas. And like just I don't know, something this year, like I don't know if it's just the older you get, you know, Christmas just seems to be slipping away like more and more.
Have some
And
kids, Lydia. It will change your
I
perspective.
know, yeah, and I don't have kids, so it's that I think that makes it a lot harder, honestly. Like if I had kids, maybe it would be easier to, but you know, uh, yeah, it's just strange to process things like Christmas, like the magic and like just the good in the world, you know, like
Yeah.
how do you protect the good in the world, you know, and you just get this like vigilante Santa Claus who's just like slightly unhinged.
Slightly.
like
I mean,
it
I
seems
think
like
the
he
hinges
means
came off the
well.
fucking door.
It just seems like he means well, and then you're just like, but then you know you throw some murder in there. I don't know. I think this movie has some lessons in it, but you know you can't really justify murder, so but so that just makes it fun because like once
Yeah.
you finally get to like to him, you know, if you can make it that far in this movie, I think you're good to go. The rest
Yeah.
is entertaining, but the beginning is just genuinely like confusion of like what is this about? I don't know. But I guess I'm right there with Derek. I'm gonna have to give it a 6 too because I can't. I don't know. It's like so weird that it's kind of a forgotten movie, and I just
It
haven't got to
is.
process my feelings about it. So, but I did
So
really enjoy watching it.
so here's what I'm gonna tell you guys. And I'm gonna let you in on something. As this movie was going on, as I was watching it, because I was like, oh, it started off, I'm like, meh. And then, more shots started happening. By the time we got to the villagers chasing him, the torch scene, I was like, this movie's good. Like, this is a good movie. Like, I'm in this. I'm in for this. I was like, this is a solid fucking 8 out of 10 for me. I think this is a pretty, like, forgotten little lost gem. Then the ending happened, which either you love or you hate. So it could either raise your rating or lower it. And I don't hate it necessarily, but I just don't understand it. But I was like prepared to give this like a 7 or an 8 because I just was having a good time with it and I thought it was well shot and pretty like unique. It was different than anything I'd seen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It kind of was stuck in between two worlds because it kind of had like some stuff that you felt like was from like the 70s and like the old filmmaking style. Then there was like those shots of like the torches and stuff that felt very modern cinema at that time. So I was like, yeah, this is a pretty fucking interesting movie. The ending happened. So this Christmas, you are getting a little treat from the beast because I also am going to give it a 6. So that's 3 sixes, 666
Oh,
across the board.
oh shit!
Well,
Satan
it
Claus
is
gives it
Christmas
666.
Oh, we've never done that, have we? Maybe once.
Maybe once, yeah.
I don't know.
Did we do the Omen remake?
out there. I don't think we've
I
done
don't
the
think so.
remake.
I think we just did the first one.
And then we did the newest one.
Oh yeah, we
The first Omen.
One, yeah.
Yeah. Because, we should all give that one 6s just to be cool.
Right.
But, yeah, Christmas Evil. Guys, I say check it out. I think it's a very interesting watch. I think you could pull a lot from it. And your mileage may vary. You might think it's too slow or sucks, or you might think it's the best movie ever made. John Waters loves this movie, and several other prominent people talk about their love of it. So yeah, Peter Jackson loves, or I'm sorry, not Peter Jackson, but yeah, it's Jackson's the director Jackson of this movie.
Oh yeah.
There's actually one that has an audio commentary, which I've got to fucking check out.
Yeah.
So yeah, Christmas Evil. Good film. Derek, it's time for you to pick
We're gonna watch
for our season 5 premiere.
Milo, the butt monster.
What?
Yeah, you guys haven't heard of that one?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Milo, the butt monster that comes out of that guy's ass.
I have no idea what you're talking about. gonna have to do like a fourth take of this now.
You want me to share my screen?
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, we
You
might as
sound
well
like
do
you
Human
fucking.
Centipede.
I thought you were doing like fucking Christmas Eve turning into Christmas Evil Harry. It's just spouting nonsense.
Here, I'll share my screen.
Okay.
Hang on, I gotta get there.
Any second now.
Bad Milo.
Oh,
That's
yes, I've seen that.
Derek, that's
Milo.
Milo.
Milo, Bad Milo.
Yeah, it's a horror comedy with Ken Marino. It's fucking wild.
All right, let's do
Wild.
that one.
We're not gonna do that. Basket Case. There's Basket Case right there. Did we do Basket Case for the show?
No.
Nope.
Ooh, that's a fucking wild one too that we have to do. All right, so what movie are we doing for real? Not Bad Milo.
We're doing Bad Milo. What are you talking about?
That is not what we're doing. You did you put Milo butt monster? You fucking you googled Milo butt monster.
I didn't know what it was called. I thought it was.
You fucking weirdo. Oh my god.
All right, we're gonna watch this.
We're not doing this. We're gonna do the movie you picked. Let's go back to it.
This is
And
the
we have to
movie I'm
reintroduce
picking.
it. No,
We're
it's
doing.
not. Shut up. Are we really gonna do Bad Milo?
Yeah, I think we need to. We'll throw a wild card in there. We'll do Bad Milo for sure.
Oh my god! Stop!
And it's free on Tubi. So.
Jesus Christ! I think we're about to veto your voting powers.
Derek has that syndrome when you're like, name a scary movie, and he's like, I can't think of a single good movie that's scary.
No.
All right.
So,
Next
what are we
week.
watching?
This is it.
This is gonna be terrible.
Lydia, there are hidden gems in every movie. Okay.
It does have Kim Moreno, who I love. Oh my god. Ugh.
All right.
It has
Make
Patrick
it show
Warburton.
number one.
Lydia is devastated by this.
How about
turn
I
of
pick a
events.
movie?
She's
No, it's not your
devastated.
turn, Lydia.
She's
Yeah, but
devastated
it'll
by
be my birthday,
Huh?
so I get birthday rules.
When's your birthday?
The second.
How is it? Well, you get next pick. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, it'll be your birthday too when we record your pick, Lydia. All right, so that's what we're doing. We're really doing Bad Milo.
Yep.
Oh my god. Okay. So next week, join us as we watch Bad Milo. It's on Tubi, I guess, Derek says. After he searched Milo butt monster. It'd have been great if just some dude railing somebody came up on the screen.
I just hope my search history doesn't accidentally pop up on a phone call that I'm on.
Milo butt monster. After you said Milo about 8 times.
I hope it does. I hope it pops up every phone call that you make.
Lydia is devastated by this turn of events. She's just beside herself.
We had so many good ones for you, Derek. We had so many good ones.
We really did. We really did. We named some bangers,
Laid
which
a
we'll
horse
get
to
to
water.
this season.
But you
Don't
can't make 'em
worry.
drink it.
Don't worry. Next next season. So episode 1's going to be Bad Milo, but episode 2 is Lydia's pick, and it'll be a good one. And next season, we may get to the Ghostbusters franchise, the Hellraiser franchise, Terrifier 2. You know, there's a ton of them. The rest of some more Wes Craven, John Carpenter, Toby Hooper. All of them. But that's our show for this year and this Christmas. So Merry Christmas, everyone. So, Derek, do you have a story for us? I'm doubting no.
I don't have one.
That's a shocker. That's a shocker there. But guys, remember, keep that Christmas spirit up. Put your finger on your nose and give it a wink so you can shoot up that chimney. And we'll see you next year. I hope you guys have a safe and merry, happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. All the stuff that you guys, Kwanzaa, all the holidays. We hope that you guys have great ones. From us at Scream Bloody Movies and HiLa Productions to you. Stay tuned. We have some big news coming up on the movie. Some more opportunities to invest. So stay tuned. Until then, for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, if you're going to scream bloody movies.